Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for today's Lunch and Learn. Today, we are joined with Kerri Wade. She is a Reiki master that practices Reiki, Yoga Nidra, and hypnotherapy, and much more. So today, she's going to go over Reiki and all about the Reiki practice and how it can help you as a cancer patient. So welcome, Kerri. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Ciara. It's such a pleasure to get to do this. As Ciara said, my name is Kerri Wade, and I am the owner of East Valley Healing in Chandler. I do in-person sessions. I also do everything that I do remotely as well. So wide open opportunities there, and I'll give you a little more information about that at the end. But I've got just a little PowerPoint that I'll go ahead and share with you, if that's okay to do that now. And just kind of give you an overview of Reiki if you are new to it. Okay, so Ciara, you see my screen okay?
It's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, and I'm just gonna stop my personal video here for a second, just because I'll be looking at myself and judging myself.
You look gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you. Well, just a little bit about Reiki. What is Reiki? Reiki is basically a practice of using energy believed to be the life force of all living things to relax and heal the mind and the body. And the practice has its roots in Japanese culture, and the word itself can be broken down to give meaning to the practice. The word rei in Japanese means universal, and the word ki is energy or life force energy. Ki is also the same as you hear in Chinese as qi, or in India, they call it prana. So altogether, it's universal life force energy. And that is the basis for the art of Reiki. It's not a massage and it's not a meditation, but it's rather a transfer of energy between the practitioner and the receiver through the hands. Maybe you're wondering, what does that all mean? Well, Reiki is a spiritual practice by nature, but it's not associated with any kind of religion. Reiki has no dogma, nor is there any defining belief that you must uphold to be able to receive or practice this form of alternative healing, or integrative healing, I prefer to call it. However, those deeply defined by their religion finds that Reiki further feeds their beliefs and puts them more in touch with themselves and with their own higher self, their own body, and their own healing process. But because Reiki is an energy, it is open to interpretation. So whether you call it God or a higher power or simply energy, the idea is that you're able to find space within yourself to tap into the idea of energy that is bigger than you, the energy that we share with every other living thing in the universe. So a little bit about how Reiki came to be. There are many interpretations for how Reiki came to be, but however deep the history goes, we know that Mikao Usui is the most traditionally considered the founder, because he was the Usui who introduced the art to a wider audience. His practice began in the 1920s after an insightful 21-day prayer and meditation practice. And in his lifetime, he is said to have trained over 2,000 people in the art of Reiki. Today, there are over 25 different offshoots of Reiki, but Usui Reiki is still the most practiced and considered to be one of the original. So according to Usui's practice, the purpose of Reiki is to help show people how to heal their own spirit by making the conscious decision to do so. It's the receiver's active participation in a Reiki session that helps to determine the success of the treatment. So healing yourself sounds pretty cool, right? During a Reiki session, energy flows from the practitioner's hands to the receiver. The receiver remains fully clothed, and it is a standard practice to have the receiver either lying down or sitting in a chair. The practitioner will then place their hands on or near the body, in a series of different hand positions, going from the head down through the shoulders, stomach, feet. And each position is going to be anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes at a time. And a full treatment typically lasts about an hour. So let's look at how the energy transfer works with the body's chakras. So chakras refer to energy centers located throughout the body. In Reiki, 7 chakras or energy centers are used to guide the practitioner over the receiver's body to help clear any stored energy so that it's able to flow unimpeded throughout the body. That's that life force that gives us our animation, that brings our bodies to life. The chakras run along the spine in relation to the body's nervous system, and each chakra is said to correspond to an organ or bodily function, as well as to certain feelings and emotions. So whenever there's an upset in one or more of the body's chakras, then the mind, body, and spirit are believed to be out of balance. Reiki works to restore that balance. So a little bit more about the 7 different chakras and how they line up along the spine. Each chakra, as I said, is related to a place in the body and a feeling. So sometimes they relate to an earth connection or a color as well. So here are the 7 chakras as they relate to Reiki. The root chakra is located at the base of the spine, and it's associated with survival, body connection, and a sense of security. When I think of the word root, what does that mean? It's like the foundation, right? It's like what we learned growing up. It's all of the lessons and our ancestral connections that we have. The sacral chakra is located at the lower abdomen or the lower back and below the navel, and it's associated with our sexuality, our emotional stability, our adaptability and movement. It's also very powerful in the area of creativity. And you can remember this by just thinking of, this is where, for women, this is where we grow our babies. That's creation. And so when you think of that sacral chakra, you can think of that creative part of us. Our solar plexus is the next one, and it is located between the navel and the base of the sternum. And it is associated with our personal power, our independence, our energy, our metabolism. The color of the solar plexus chakra is yellow. And so when I think of the solar plexus, solar for one, sun, it's that really bright, sunny part of us. It is that chakra where we often feel like our happiness, or we can feel fulfilled. We feel like we are energetic and independent. The heart chakra, the color of green, it's located in the center of the chest, and it is, surprise, surprise, it is associated with feelings of love and self-acceptance, because there's not just love of others, there's love of self as well, right? We have to love ourselves. Moving up to the throat chakra, which is located at the base of the neck, it's associated also with creativity, but it's also associated with our expression, our communication, our language, our sound. When energy gets stuck in that throat chakra, it can tell me, what are you holding back on speaking? What are you not saying? Is there a discussion you need to have? Are you holding back your words because you think you're not good enough or they don't have any value? Clearing out that throat chakra can help to move that energy. Our third eye. The third eye, it's located right between the eyebrows, and it's associated with intuitive insight and conceptual awareness. And then we have the crown chakra located with our spiritual connection to the higher consciousness. It's where we connect when we are praying, when we are meditating. So the Reiki experience, the experience of receiving Reiki isn't the same for everyone. It's not universal because each session depends so much on the energy from and within the receiver. But in general, feelings of deep relaxation are typically felt by everyone. Some receivers have expressed a feeling of radiance that flows within the body. They can like feel energy moving around. Some common things might be all of a sudden your tummy starts to gurgle during Reiki, or you might feel like some numbness or tingling somewhere. Hiccups can happen, things like that. The energy is moving around in there. Also, others have reported like sensations that are kind of out of body or mystical experiences. They may see colors, they may hear sounds, they may feel like they're receiving information or guidance, or even just feel like they're being hugged by God, by Jesus, whatever you believe in, or just hugged by the universe. And so, let me think, anything else on that? Yeah. So because of Reiki also, it releases tension, it releases anxiety, it releases anger and all those negative feelings. And so basically just a feeling of peace and overall well-being can accompany the treatment. So if you're curious about what your reaction would be, well, life after Reiki. There is no limit to how much Reiki a person can receive, but after a session, there are various reactions that can be experienced, especially for early receivers, because Reiki stimulates that energy flow. The body may work to cleanse itself of toxins for a few days. And it's sort of like when you have a massage and they do some really deep work, it can help release the toxins that we hold in our bodies, that we hold in our muscles. Well, it's the same thing with our energy. We can hold toxins in our energy system. And so sometimes, that just leads us to feel not sick, but just maybe kind of extra tired for a day. Some people might kind of have a little heightened awareness. You might have a little indigestion, things like that. But not many people experience that. If they do, it's for a very short amount of time. And so the best thing you can do is drink a lot of water and get rest. I'd always tell my clients, go home and spoil yourself. Just take this time for yourself, drink some water, have some nice tea, be quiet, maybe write, maybe read, maybe do some journaling, that sort of thing. On the flip side, some people experience no more than just a feeling of really deep contemplation and an overall sense of well-being. That is really the typical. That is what I see most. Reiki is not a cure for disease or illness, but it's really a complementary practice in addition with other treatments. It's believed that by stimulating the energy system within the body and helping it to remove those negative energies, those negative toxic energies, the body is then primed to work on healing itself. Reiki is a great addition to health and wellness maintenance and care by helping the body to accelerate our healing, to clean out those toxins, to balance the flow of energy, and to help you just discover the healer within yourself. So, practicing Reiki. I'm going to skip that one. I want to share with you the Reiki precepts. And this was shared by Dr. Mikao Usui, the founder of Reiki. And it goes like this. Just for today, I will let go of anger. Just for today, I will let go of worry. Today, I will count my many blessings. Today, I will do my work honestly. Today, I will be kind to every living creature. This is kind of the creed that Reiki practitioners live by. This is our principles. This is our foundation that was taught through this. So thank you so much for letting me share this little presentation. It really means a lot to me to be able to share this with you all. I have found so many beautiful benefits to Reiki and the healing process and just helping us relax so that our bodies can heal, that we can help quiet down that monkey mind and that thought loop that we all get going through. So I wanted to let you know that I have set up a discount code for any of Ironwood Cancer Center's clients, people, whether you're going through chemotherapy or treatments right now, or you have in the past, you're welcome to use this discount code. And so when you go to my website, which is there at the bottom, kerriwade.com, just put in the coupon code IronwoodCC, and that will take 20% off your sessions, whether it's an in-person session or a remote session. So here's just an example of what it feels like before and after Reiki. I love this little visual of it because it is really, it's amazingly relaxing. And so I'm just going to come back on my video now. So that's what I have for you. And so, Ciara, I know that you have some questions.
I do. All right. Thank you so much for that presentation, Kerri. It's very informational. I know our patients will love the insight into Reiki. And so to begin with, do our patients need to be finished with treatment to work with you on Reiki or with
Oh,
Reiki?
no, absolutely not. It works beautifully in conjunction with the treatment. It just it helps to release some of that stress, to bring about that feeling of calm and peace. And there aren't a lot of real technical studies on Reiki, but the studies, the people that have been asked these questions, all share that they also felt like with Reiki, compared to people who aren't having Reiki, they are feeling less pain as well. So it's really good at supporting that entire process.
Great. And I know, whatever our patients can do for pain management, it's just a really good thing for them, and treatment is very stressful. So
Very.
that alone can really be
Mhm,
helpful.
mhm.
Now, do patients need to prepare in any way before a Reiki session with you?
No, not at all. If you're coming in person, I just tell you, just dress comfortably. Okay. I have a massage table, and on my massage table for the in person sessions, I have a mat, and it has some extra benefits to it. It's got a little bit of healing. This is a mat you lay on, that's underneath the sheets and stuff. And it has crystals that are embedded in it. It has rose quartz and jade and tourmaline, which are all wonderful for healing. It also has like the far infrared um, properties and some negative ion therapy and that sort of thing. And so that part of it just on its own is really nice. And maybe not everyone can use the mat or have some of those other things turned on. I'll go through some information with you beforehand. There are a couple of circumstances where we don't want to use some of the things on the mat. But no, you're going to be lying down. You're going to have a blanket over you if you want, being really, really comfortable. And it's a very, very relaxing experience. And then, of course, if we do it remotely, we're going to connect by phone before we start and go over some things, answer some questions, set some intentions. And then I can send the healing remotely as well. Because Reiki is an energy, you don't have to be in person. We can do it through our intentions. And part of the training process in Reiki, part of what we do in the Reiki level 2 is to learn how to do the distance healings. And so you can receive that energy just the same. And of course, then you're in the comfort of your own home. You can be lying where you're comfortable, whatever the case may be. I have even had clients that have had me send them Reiki while they're going through their chemotherapy, while they're having a treatment. I've had clients that have had me send Reiki while they are on the operating table. And so, there's lots of options there for it, but there's really nothing you have to do to prepare. I just want you to make sure you drink a lot of water afterwards and, be kind to yourself, get some extra rest if you need that.
Well, I think the over the Zoom, or excuse me, the Reiki over the Zoom is a nice option for our
Mhm.
patients who do not feel well, and it's very hard for them to leave home. So, what a great
Right.
option for our patients.
Absolutely. And it works beautifully. I know I first became a Reiki master back in 2004. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I actually received a distance session from another Reiki master. And I've always just, taken for granted it works because I've done it forever. But I actually received a Reiki session, and I have to say it exceeded my expectations. I was like, wow, this is so cool. It just was just like being in person. So.
Hmm. Well, and then, lastly here, what do you have to go through as far as training to become a Reiki practitioner?
The trainings vary. Typically, Reiki is taught in 3 or 4 levels, the Asui traditional Reiki. Reiki 1 is learning the things like the hand positions for doing in-person sessions. We're learning to do Reiki on ourselves. And then there is an attunement process in which these attunements are passed from the Reiki master teacher to the Reiki student. And so Reiki 1 is just kind of learning about the history of Reiki and learning to practice on ourselves. And then Reiki 2, we learn the different symbols. We learn there are actually 4 different traditional Usui Reiki symbols. And so we learn the different symbols in level 2. We also learn not just for the physical healing part of Reiki, but for the mental and the emotional healing properties that Reiki has. And we learn this symbol to be able to do the distance healing. And then Reiki 3, and sometimes Reiki 3 and 4 are combined. Reiki 3 is considered the master level. And in that we receive a master symbol as well. And each time there are going to be attunements from the master to the student. And attunements basically we're passing that energy. So it's passed from master to student, that sort of thing. And it's like clearing out the chakras of the student and passing on that energy to them. And it's a really beautiful experience. It's a very for me it was a very sacred type of experience, and I try to make that very sacred for my students as well. I do have a Reiki course that is basically all online, except your attunements can either be over Zoom or they can be in person. And I teach the master and the teacher level are both included in level 3. So in that, in addition to getting your master symbol, you also learn how to teach Reiki. You learn how to give the attunements to others so that if you want to attune other Reiki practitioners, you can. It can never be enough. It can never be enough. So it's a real honor and privilege to get to do that and hold that space. And like I mentioned before, there are like 25 or more different offshoots of Reiki. And so, depending on how deep and how far you want to go, you can continue on with different trainings. And each of the trainings can have a different attunement process. Many of them have a symbol or multiple symbols that you learn. I also am a Karuna Reiki practitioner, and Karuna means compassionate action. And it's a very gentle and nurturing type of Reiki as well. And then the Holy Fire Reiki master teacher. And that is, in that one, we're allowing that Reiki energy to come direct from source. And we're just inviting it in and calling it into our client. And so that one is also, it's like each level takes you to a deeper place within yourself and within your practice. So there's lots of different things out there though.
Great. This has been a really informational session here, and I'm so grateful that you've joined us today. If any of our patients would like to schedule a session with Kerri, please feel free to visit her website, www.kerriwade.com, and get one scheduled with her. Thank you so much, Kerri. We appreciate you being here.
You bet. Thank you, Ciara. I appreciate it so much.
All right, and thank you everybody for joining us for another Lunch and Learn. If you'd like to view this video or any others, once again, please visit our website at www.ironwoodcrc.com and click in the upper right-hand corner the YouTube icon. Thank you so much and take care.
Thank you for joining us for our virtual Lunch and Learn series. We hope you enjoyed this session. There will be a replay of this Lunch and Learn on the Ironwood YouTube and social media channels. For more information regarding our supportive care services classes and events, email us at wellness@ironwoodcrc.com. Thank you for spending time with us today.